Hey there. So today, before beginning, I will be talking about something that is not work appropriate. I want to note that because I know that several people listen to this at work. So you might want to go get some earbuds and you might want to tune in, either listening by yourself or at another time. We will be talking about an exchange with John Layman versus himself. But this is spawned from Nasser. Now you'll notice the picture I have in front of me too for Brutus the Badass. This involves Nasser. I'm going to suggest that people go out and back this because, you have a guy out there that is on his second comic book that has been maligned by a comic book professional. The guy, John Layman, too, I want you to really imagine him in your head while he's talking there. When he's discussing white male victimhood or incels out there, just remember, this is the guy talking about it. This lily white dude is the one going out and trying to disparage and insult because it's easy to be a keyboard crusader. Somebody can pull up that keyboard and they can act like the ultimate badass, like they just stepped into the ring. But if they really had the Thunderdome in front of them, they wouldn't know what to do. But anyhow, this stuff, it all started back in May. And you notice today, it's not May. We're actually talking about September. He's going to conjure something that happened in May. He's going to go all the way back there because apparently Nasser got under his skin that bad. So this starts out with Layman going on about the Comicsgate crowd. The Comicsgate crowd is acting like a successful comics crowdfunding is a triumph for comics. But in truth, Richard Meyer could crowdfund a warm bucket of jizz, and these idiots would lap it up. You'll notice that he has this obsession with male excretions as well. Maybe that says something about him and his anger. Maybe he hasn't come to terms with something. It's okay, man. You can be whoever you want to be. You don't have to take it out on other people. But continuing, he just found a way to monetize white male victimhood and hate. White male victimhood. I mean, seriously. But anyhow, let's continue there. So when you hear Nasser too, you can imagine what Nasser doesn't look like. He probably doesn't look like the guy that I just showed you. He said, I was going to pick up Chew, but you rather alienate a section of fans that buys comics. He said, I sure would. Fuck those Comicsgate losers. So the person signs in and says, sounds off and says, hey, it's been out for years. You were never going to pick it up. Fuck Comicsgate whiners. Yeah, that too. Sorry you're not buying my 9-year-old book, Nasser. Nasser says, well, it's not that it's 9 years old. It's that I won't buy any of your new stuff as well. I'll live, dude, with or without you. It's not just me. It's thousands of fans you're against. If they're actually fans, they're hopefully smart enough to find somewhere to buy the books. It's not like they're out of print, and the internet is a thing. Another person said, why would I try to read when I could take a stroll into Indiegogo land and buy comics from people who are nice to me? Yeah, there you go, right there. Here's another person there. Chew is actually really good, despite this jerk being behind it. I picked it up in a huge bundle from Humble Bundle, though. I doubt I'd ever buy anything else from this guy. So you can see the reactions to this. I picked up Chew at one time, and I have to say that if you want to read Chew, it's actually a good read. I would never put money in this guy's pocket. There are many ways to buy stuff. You can go out and buy them used, for example. That's one way that you can get around somebody like this. And that's pretty much what people need to do from now on. So then there was an exchange that continues this and says, I honestly wanted to check out Chew from Image Comics, but this is how your creator feel about me. So this here, I'll showcase exactly what that says. And another reaction here. So Layman says, minute then and minute now, fuck those Comicsgate losers, which is what that says right there. Do you not want sales? Why would you treat fans like this? Thousands of fans you don't even know personally. I don't want sales enough to suck up to scum. I'm not asking you to suck up to me or anybody. You're alienating someone that spends thousands on comics. He even ignores the idea that he's been called scum within that. But continuing down here. So, I wanted to buy your book. It's literally would have given you and the comic shop money. There's another thing within there, the comic shop, which I'll talk about in just a moment. These people, they love to say that you are not the consumer in there, the comic shop is, but they have no respect for the comic shop either. Then we have Matthew Southworth, who honestly I wouldn't pick up a comic book from anyway, talking about, hey, Nasser, you don't get it. If you're allied with these fucking assholes, John doesn't want your money, and neither do I. Well, that's cool, because nobody was going to give you your money anyway. But continuing, if you're unaware of the terrible shit that Meyer Prick has said and done, I'm happy to inform you. But people of value don't put money ahead of principle. Yeah, that's how people that are living off of the government, aka the thing that the people out here that are talking to you right now actually pay taxes for as well. But continuing, I've talked to Diversity in Comics personally and watched most of his videos. Literally, all he does is review comics and make comics. He even says not to contact the people he talks about. Funny that you haven't said stuff about Mags Visaggio or Michelle Perez. I don't know Mags or Visaggio or Michelle Perez, and I don't read their comics, so I have no opinion on them. Myers is a fucknut, and so on. I mean, you see this exchange, which really doesn't matter there, but, I don't know Mags or Michelle either, but I liked what I've seen or read. I don't know Myers either, but he seems like human dog shit. He also has this thing about dog shit and comparing people to that. I like how he goes out and he compares people that if you were to go and talk about, yeah, you would be some kind of isterphobe. Just remember that kind of stuff there. Continuing, they've done terrible stuff. I don't know how people can belittle and turn away consumers. Even if I don't change your mind or convince you of anything, just know it starts with no buying Chew, and it spreads to not buying any of your material. Me and thousands of others, how can you belittle and turn away consumers? Have you not been reading my responses to you? That's a pretty good tutorial how it's done. If that's how you want to treat customers, then that's on you. You're not a customer, dude. You're someone threatening not to be a customer after never having been a customer. It's a loss I can deal with. So potential consumers, they don't matter. Consumers that are there, they don't matter. Prior consumers, they don't matter. LCSs, they don't matter, which I'll show you in a moment. Just remember all of that. They are people, I've been a customer of that I'll no longer buy for the same reason. Fine, I was never your customer, now I never will be. All right, so we have a few exchanges that go back and forth, and then this stuff cuts off. He tries to start it back up in August, and Nasser tells him, pretty much, I don't want anything to do with it. Don't take my word on that either. Go and do search parameters online. You can find this very easy. You can do an advanced search function. Just look at messages going back and forth from these accounts, from him to this guy here. So you can do that. Well, today he decides he's going to go on this big, long diatribe that I'm going to showcase here. So gather round, ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors. It's story time. Today's subject is Comicsgate. And let me say how gratifying it's been in recent weeks to see more and more comic pros standing up to these bullying, hateful assholes. Yeah, because you saw that Nasser was really a bullying, hateful asshole. And he'll show you why you're a bullying, hateful asshole too. But continuing, for the record, I know that not all Comicsgaters are bullying assholes, but the movement's foundation is based on harassment, misogyny, transphobia, homophobia, as is much of the membership and leadership. Regardless of its tensions of some, that is Comicsgate's toxic, inescapable legacy. Yeah, because they'll throw a label on anyone that says anything about comic books that they don't walk. If you walk lockstep with them, you're good to go. But if you don't, well, you're Comicsgate. And of course, this is the legacy of everything you discuss. It's the poison pen that they want to add. So I say fuck them. I say that you go out and you label yourself Comicsgate, because they've already done that. Anyway, accept that label and you don't take any crap off of them. But continuing here, typically when I get into it with someone on Twitter, I don't quote tweet or draw attention to them. This is a flagrant lie by Layman, by the way. He loves to do this stuff. He loves to gaslight people, and he loves to pretend, oh, just me, I didn't do anything, but continuing here. When a comic pro singles out a muggle, man, that Harry Potter lingo, wow, you're so cool, Brewster, I swear. Continuing, during an internet altercation, it can be seen as punching down, so it's something I like to avoid. Even though the guy, just spent a whole lengthy diatribe telling the consumer they don't matter over and over again, but yeah, he doesn't like to draw attention to them. But anyhow, today he's going to make an exception. So he's got to go back, and he's got to go after Nasser yet again here. Listen, if I call you a piece of shit Comicsgate supporter, it's not because of your race. It's because you're a piece of shit Comicsgate supporter. Me, Nasser Rabadi, a piece of shit Comicsgate supporter. Now remember the language that these individuals utilize time and again. He just described you as misogynist, transphobe, racist, and on. So if you're all of these things, then how are you a Nasser Rabadi? See, that's the thing that doesn't work out within this. If you are not white, if you are not the thing that they'll call you over and over again, like he's going to call you a white incel, how exactly does that work out? A person like myself, for example, how am I an incel and yet married with a family? Doesn't exactly work out. But continuing here, some months ago, Nasser jumped onto my feed after I said something about Comicsgate with the same tired Comicsgate shtick. I got a bad stack of Marvel comics I can't read because the boobs are too small and SJWs are bad. Respect me and kiss my ass because I'm a potential consumer who might conceivably someday buy one of your comics. Yeah, he said all of those things, didn't he? He did say the back part. He is a potential consumer. I might buy some of your comics, but you basically said F you. So continuing, Nasser continued to interrupt my feed repeatedly for days with the same stupid, tired Comicsgate shit. Nasser eventually got blocked. So you're going to decide to talk about him behind the block, right? I block about 75% of these people, fuck with 20% with smartassery, and actually converse with maybe 5%, though conversations are futile and always the same. So if you're the 5% you're being talked to, you don't matter there. You don't matter at all. I don't know why any of you would continue to support a guy like Layman. I mean, he's basically the same type of tired tripe. But continuing here, I made it clear, or crystal clear, to Nasser and other Comicsgate losers that I don't want anything to do with fuckers who traffic in abuse or harassment of comic colleagues. This guy, of course, is more than happy to go out and more than happy to shove his little stubby finger in the faces of other comic pros that disagree with him. But hey, let's not let that get in the way, right? Continuing, I don't need or want their money. Comicsgate can fuck off. I maintain a higher standard for myself and my readership. Yeah, you know what? I actually read Leviathan, and I'll have to say that if that's your higher standard for comics, I'm not really saying it. I'm oftentimes amazed by the sequential storyteller and the ego and narcissism that you come across. I mean, look at this guy here. He cuts into other people's money as well, and when people walk away from this industry, they walk away for good. But hey, screw all of those people that he's talking about that are his compatriots. Yeah, those people, they don't actually matter. But continuing here, Nasser didn't like it. This rat dick weasel fucker proceeded to find my collaborators on Twitter and try to tattle on me for ruining imaginary perspective sales. This human rabbit turd then went to former collaborators and then did the same. Then to all the image partners he could find on Twitter. Oh, because he is, what do you call that? Oh, a potential consumer. You said that yourself. And in any other industry, you wouldn't abide this. You yourself wouldn't abide this from anything else. I saw a comment from Layman saying, hey, workplace, I'm sitting here on my couch. You must think you're ordering a burger. It doesn't actually matter what kind of product you endeavor to put in a marketplace. You still should be answerable to that. The LCSs should hold you answerable. But unfortunately, like I say, consumers don't matter. LCSs don't matter. Professional standards, they are not only. lacking. They are grossly neglected within pretty much all of this industry. We've been showing that time and again by people that are in charge of companies. Erik Larsen, I'm going to show you the comment that he throws out here, for example, in just a minute. And it's tied to this here. Now, it turns out this human cum rag, Nasser, this walking unflushed truck stop toilet, has invented that I'm a racist for not putting up with his shit, not kissing his stupid Comicsgate ass, and has been making repeated calls to image to what? Accuse me of racism? If you show up on my timeline, I have no idea what your race is. Oh, but, other people are supposed to have the same standard there. See, you just get caught in a trap here, because if you want to hold comic skaters to the standard of everyone that they talk about is, well, you get held to that same standard too. Welcome to the whirlwind that you created. Why don't you reap that whirlwind? Isn't it a lot of fun? Because that's the thing that you endeavor out there. Really, when you get down to this argument too, the racism, the misogyny and on, he's going to blow up this idea all over this comment thread. When he does, you have to think about all you're left with is petty narcissism and ego on display, wherein people think, again, they're creating high forms of art, and they think that they're changing the world in some positive aspect, like they're going out and working for St. Jude's or something, when all we're seeing, again, is a petty display here. So continuing, at least half the Comicsgate tweeters are sock puppets with fake bios because primary accounts have been blocked or banned, and or they're trying to make their loser clubhouse look better and more diverse than it is. Yeah, because you're going out and attacking a guy named Nasser, right? That right there shows how diverse you are. Again, I seem to remember you looking like this. This is the guy throwing out value judgments there. But, oh well. Continuing. I just assume comic skaters are angry, scuzzy, white incel, tear-stained, Marvel comics stacked nearby, circle-jerking to YouTube, dry-humping anime pillows while fantasizing it's Squirrel Girl, reimagined as a penthouse pet, or maybe Ethan Van Sciver. That's not even a good way. You should have at least finished that, in some way. But of course, while you're pumping your ego. But continuing there. And if they're not a white Comicsgate incel, I still assume that other stuff, except maybe their crusty anime sex pillow is imagined as Captain Marvel with Stormy Daniels' boobs and Richard Meyer's goofy bowl cut. Again, this guy here is talking about people's goofy bowl cuts. I mean, seriously, what standard? You got to imagine living in this kind of headspace. Maybe I'll ask Nasser what it's like there, because apparently he's just taking it up rent-free. But continuing, take it to heart, Comicsgate motherfuckers. I don't know or care what race you are. You're all the same to me. Dog shit. But Nasser is at the top of the dog shit heap. Fuck him. This scumfuck asswipe, Nasser is going to mule about harassment next, and already has, although my harassment has thus far consisted of swatting him away as he ambushes my timeline and then blocking him. So you don't think this kind of thing would count as harassment? You would call this harassment if somebody went out and put out this kind of diatribe. If you called someone in the comic book industry a cum rag, yeah, I don't think that would fly. In fact, I remember the biggest argument ever thrown out by you folks, but we'll get to that in just a second. Continuing here, and he goes running to my collaborators and publisher with smears. Fuck him, Final tweet and moral of today's story, folks. You put your hand in the Layman tiger cage, you're going to get bit. Man, this guy, he thinks that he's some tough guy. These internet keyboard jockeys, they think that they're such tough guys. They think that they're so amazing. Like, they've gone out and they've done something. So here, Nasser brings this up with Erik Larsen. Zach said, come dumpster once. Oh my God, I can't let this go. Who cares if John calls you a cum rag? It's no big deal, ha. And here's Erik Larsen. The two terms are not comparable. While they may be in your head, nobody reading cum rag thinks you're a literal rag covered in semen. Cum dumpster for a woman has very different implications. Number one, that can actually be sexual connotation. Can mean the same damn kind of thing. Number two, you're again making excuses, just like you did for Michelle Perez. It's the same kind of stuff that we've heard from Image Comics, the same tired diatribe you think don't impact sales. You know, this impacts sales across the board. That's something that pros out there need to understand. When a guy like Layman sounds off, that's terrible enough for your sales. But then when you have the CFO of a company representing your comic books, yeah, that's not good either. But then again, this guy is very good at excusing bad conduct. Here's something that ties in to the entire thing that just transpired. You can see that right here within it. You can see where he tagged in that I sure would fuck those Comicsgate losers at the top of that comment here. So this guy that's representing Shadowline Comics, Mark Lombardi, the guy that will drive it into the ground after a little while because he runs their social media platform in such a negative way, decides he's going to come at Nasser when he asks, hey, I get my business degree in a month. Are you guys hiring? Does your business degree come with a minor? And stop complaining to publishers about creators like Layman who call out Comicsgate nitwits for spreading hate. You know, not a good look kid will pass. I didn't spread any hate. This tweet was almost over a month old. You never considered me, but you're replying now to try and make some insult. You know, I honestly wanted to check out Chew from Image Comics, but this is how your creators feel about me here. Now, if you self-identify with the Comicsgate crowd, then you're going to find that most comic pros creators agree with John. We don't need that sort of toxicity in our industry, and we're certainly not looking to hire folks like that, especially or even with business degrees. So you can see this guy going out and taking over a business platform, talking for Shadowline, which is an associate of Image Comics. Now, what does the CFO of Image Comics do about that? Oh, Mark Lombardi, I think you need to make it clear that that's you talking. When posting a Shadowline, it makes it seem like you're doing it in an official capacity, which, hey, you didn't get rid of him, and you guys didn't even think about trying to hire the guy, so maybe, just maybe, this is the reality leaking out from there. Because, of course, you know, there are all types of double standards, but the one standard that you seem to apply, it's one that says F consumers. Here we have yet another person that decides they're going to sound off, and what a lovely, lovely person this is. This is somebody that decided to lead on Nasser as a professional. This is someone that made him pretty much think that he was going to get some cover art done. He had convinced him to buy several $100s worth of merchandise at a Comic-Con, ended up following him while Nasser followed him back, and then after a while you hear stuff like this. Fuck yes. I had the same fucking thing happen with this idiot. I said something about Comicsgate dipshittery, and he jumped into my timeline talking about how we were friends and brought the rest of those dipshits with him. Led to a huge headache. I blocked him, and he went to one of the collaborators who had no idea who he was or what he was talking about. My buddy shot him down and sent him on his way. He also, I'm pretty sure, complained to a publisher I was working with at the time as well. This kid sucks and had no effect. Yeah, it had no effect whatsoever, and yet you people keep talking about him. And of course you have to twist the story within that. Interesting too, when we're talking about a guy like this, because the reason I know him for is his obsessiveness with Trump and murder art. Here's a few shots of that. You'll see some other screenshots mixed in with here as we skip them really quickly. But here's his obsession with Donald Trump. This is supposed to be something that he he made for charity. I mean, this is his contribution to things. And when you look at that, wow, that says a lot about the person there. I also wonder how this works in current year. I mean, if you're talking about putting a dude in a dress and then having him killed, what exactly is the message you're sending there? I mean, wouldn't that make you sexist at least, maybe transphobic, depending on how you exactly interpreted it and on? But then again, wouldn't want to hold you to the same standards that you hold everyone else to, would we? Now here is an example of how Layman and another pro consider the LCS out there, because you know you're not the consumer, only the LCS is. Now this transpired because of an exchange about Mike S. Miller being disinvited from a convention. You can see the wording here that actually stirs up a little bit of controversy. Here is the letter they sent to the creature in question. You know, a dehumanizing word, creature. So you have a comic book shop come in, Kaboom Comics here, and they talk about, as a retailer, I can no longer actively promote your work, Mike. What you're doing is pure bullying and not helping the comic industry. We may all not agree on politics, no one ever will, but attacking Mr. Miller like this, it's just disgusting, honestly. So of course we hear, good to know, you're blocked there, great there. Oh, hey, Kaboom, you just got kaboomed. Wrong move. You know, because the place that actually picks up the artwork or picks up comic books and on, yeah, they're the ones that you want to tell screw you, because those places, they don't have to carry your products and on. Layman here decides to say, add me to this list. Mike S. Miller is dog shit human. How about you focus on creating great books that appeal to a wide range of consumers and stop with the politics and mudslinging. Engage with all fans and be polite and strengthen the comic industry. What a weird idea, huh? I can create great books that appeal to a wide range of readers and call out crappy people for being crappy people at the same time. I'm multi-talented that way. So you can see this thing. I will not be held to a professional standard. I will attack whatever is out there, whether that be a consumer that is a potential consumer, a prior consumer, a former consumer, an LCS or on. It doesn't really matter. You walk lockstep or else. That's this industry. And there are many other examples of that. But this guy here, this guy right here, yeah, he pretty much says that he embodies the worst. My final thoughts on this stuff: first of all, go out and look up Brutus the Badass and make sure that you support that. Tell Nasser that you appreciate what he's done out there. He has showcased C.B. Cebulski for who he is, not once but twice. He has showcased how move the needle, how we can actually impact industry. He had somebody go out and try to put that on a platform and call him out, and it turned around, and the person, yeah, they didn't like the way that was taken. He's also showcased really quickly not only what that person, Layman, was like, but he also showcased exactly what Erik Larsen is like. Not the first time that's happened, but it pretty much defeated their go-to thing. Because you know, if Cumrag's okay, because hey, we're going to allow this example to fly, well then, you know, everything else that diversity in comics said is A-okay, because you know what? The guy wasn't representing a commodity within that market. At the time all of that happened, he was just a YouTube reviewer. He was a guy out there with a platform. This guy represents multiple commodities with multiple companies out there. But hey, let's not let that get in the way. I'm tired of these people too. You know, if you haven't decided by now to walk away from them, I don't know exactly what you're thinking about. And when you think about walking toward, well, here's a good thing to walk toward. You know, there's so many good examples out there, and there's so many bad examples of what people do when you continue to support the thing that doesn't support you. But let me know what you think about this stuff. Also, if you like this kind of content, please consider supporting this channel and other channels like it. You know, there are links within the description. There's a Patreon link and there's a PayPal link within it. Also, we do live streams pretty much every day, so you can check those out. But make sure to like and subscribe and on, and definitely tell me what you think about this stuff. Thank you.